All right, this is the Unit 19 lesson. It starts on page 261, and this lesson is about recreational activities. I really like this lesson. I think you'll see why soon, because there's just a lot of big ASL concepts in here that we've kind of touched on a little bit as these lessons have progressed, but this one really hits on all of them. So we had talked a little bit last week about when you sign something once, like month or sick, that just means, 1 month or you're sick. But once you do it multiple times or a repeated motion, or even that circular repeated motion, it becomes a continual thing, right? So sick became disease, month became every month or monthly. All right, so there's some more of that here in this lesson. So if you're on page 262, 263, that's where the grammar note for that is located. So I'm just going to go through and show you what these look like, because this also starts introducing you to the non-manual markers. There are a lot of those, and so they're kind of hard to master as a hearing person, but this is a great introduction to them. A couple examples that I've already introduced to you are when we sign big and we said cha, cha, C-H-A, cha. That is a non-manual marker, a mouth morpheme. That means something is big. I'm trying to think of other ones that we've talked about. I think with thin, we did ooh. So yeah, so let's talk about these. So page 262, A, they're talking about shopping repeatedly, meaning to spend a lot of time and effort shopping, which is something I like to do, but lately it's been online. Anyway, you do your mouth opening and closing to show intensity or effort. So that just means I'm shopping all the time. I'm shopping till I drop. All right. Next up in B on page 263, they're talking about shopping repeatedly. So we're still using that same sign, but we're changing the meaning of it with our mouth. So B is the lips pursed to show lack of intensity or effort. Okay. Next is part C. They changed the verb, so we're not shopping at this point. We're paying someone repeatedly. So that means that your lips are pursed together and your eyebrows are squeezed together to show diligence, care, or deliberation. So I'm paying someone repeatedly. I'm sorry, you can probably hear my dog eating his Kong right now. So pay someone repeatedly. Your lips are pursed. You've got your eyebrows down. Pay, 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 pay. And that means that that would be like, I always pay my rent on time, or I'm always, paying my bills on time. And then part D on page 263, they bring back the shopping, and this one is when your tongue is slightly protruding through pursed lips to show carelessness or lack of deliberation. All right, so this would be like, that's carelessness. A good example that I think of with that careless, the tongue out careless, is with driving. Like if somebody, snowed for the first time in a while and it's really icy on the highway and someone's driving, 90 and swerving in and out of traffic, they're driving carelessly. Okay, so those are just kind of cool. They're kind of fun. So go ahead and do some practice with those. Take a look at exercise 19A and these sentences. One thing that they do on page 265, they bring up beach, B-E-A-C-H. That is commonly signed, but another sign for that is beach. So it's like your dominant hand is like the waves coming in, beach. So I just kind of wanted to show you that too. Then once we get to page 266, we see that grammar note discussing the continually. So you can do this with a lot of signs. So they're saying here, play continually, eat continually. Once you like eat, that means that you're eating continually. Or play, you're playing continually. So when you repeat that sign, it means that you're doing it more than just one time. So it's not like, okay, so I played basketball yesterday was just the play versus every Tuesday basketball I play. All right. Um, Next up, we have, oh yes, so there's a note also on page 266 about chat. So they're kind of doing something like this in the video, which is kind of changed now to be this. So this is what people will use for chatting. Like, hey, let's chat, or hey, in the chat box, let's catch up, let's chat. But that's like when you're signing, like chatting, signing, chatting and signing. But if you're signing fluently, which this is used for like native deaf users, certified interpreters, it wouldn't be used for ASL students because they're not quite fluent yet. But so students would sign, and then deaf people sign. Okay, so ASL students sign, I'm learning how to sign, and then fluency, like fluency in sign language, is sign. All right. Another grammar note on page 268. So this one is talking about how to make things kind of like plural and all over the place, everywhere. So we had kind of talked about this a little bit when we talked about people being everywhere in a crowd, or, well, if I was looking at the crowd, or if I was in a crowd. But this one is talking about having multiple things everywhere. So like if you did house, that would be, there's a sign for neighborhood, but that could be like there are a lot of houses in a row. Or if you have books, all right, so you can have many books like that. And the way that that's written is with that plus plus. So when you see that double plus when it comes up in your practice later, that's what that means. So you're not saying, I see a tree. You're saying, I see many trees, like a forest, right? So go ahead and practice that and just repeating that sign and doing that kind of a thing to get that practice in. All right, let's talk about the vocabulary. That starts on page 269. My dog is now 6 months old. We got a COVID puppy, and he is literally attached to my hip, and he's been doing so good all day while I've been making these videos. And now he's going a little crazy, so this might be our last one today. So sorry for the disruption, but this is what life is like working from home. I'm sure you all understand. Thank you for being patient. All right, so next up, vocab. So we have seasons. So the sign for season, there's a newer sign for it. You take your non-dominant hand, and then you take your dominant hand and kind of go around. So like, you know how there are 4 seasons, and then they cycle through. So this is the sign for season. Now we have winter, which is the same sign as cold. Winter. We have spring, which is 2 times. Because when you do this once, it means grow, as in a plant was growing. But when you do it twice, it becomes the season of spring. Next is summertime, the best time. Summer. And then we have autumn or fall. Like the leaves are falling off the tree. Autumn or fall. Now we have some games and activities. So volleyball, what they're showing you here in the book is volleyball, which is okay. Another sign I see for that more often is volleyball. So you can sign volleyball, which is kind of like raise the roof or awesome. You know, those signs are similar. Or you can volleyball. If it were to show up on a quiz, I would be doing this one, volleyball. I'm sorry, your hands have to be this way because once you turn them, it kind of becomes like awful. So volleyball. Next up is camp or camping. Camping. Okay, so this is like a tent. I'm going to go camping. Camp. camping. Throw a frisbee. Throw a frisbee. You're just miming it. Throw a frisbee. Race or compete. So we had like challenge before and game. So similar to that is race. Race or compete. Race. And then again, match or play against. We've already learned that one a couple weeks ago. So game and then challenge or match or play against. Hamburger. So dominant does a squish, non-dominant does a squish. Hamburger. The sign in the book for hot dog may be used as hot dog in California, but what the picture is showing you is the Michigan sign for sausage. Sausage. Fun story. I was interpreting an event once, and the deaf person signed that, and it made no sense in the context that we were talking about because it was a meeting for college. And we weren't talking about meal plans. We weren't talking about like anything. It was just they randomly signed this, but they weren't from here. And that was their sign for scholarship. So lots of different variations for that. But anyway, know that here in Michigan, if you see this, that means sausage, like the sausage links. And then hot dog, you take your non-dominant hand like it's a bun. Hot dog. Hot dog. Okay, it's a little different. Hot dog. French fries, same as 99. You start in, go out. French fries, 99. Next up is sandwich. So they are doing it kind of like this, like sandwich. I've always seen sandwich or sandwich. So the way that you'll see it on a quiz is sandwich. I kind of just have, I'm holding like one hand in the other like it's the bread. Sandwich. Bug. Bug. A lot of times in ASL, this sign is spelled bug. If you're working with kids, maybe this, but when you do that one time, it means orgasm. So a lot of deaf people just end up spelling the word bug because not to be confused with the other meaning of that sign. Join in, participate. We've talked about this before. So join and quit, right? Those are the opposites. Join and quit. Now we have group, team. Oh, I don't see class. They're not reminding you about that one. But remember we had this before in ASL 1. So we have a group, and this sign right here means group, team, class, whatever. Or like they're doing here in the book, they're initializing it and using the English letters to represent that. So group, team, and class. All right. I do see those used quite often still. Most people will just do this to mean like a group of people. But very specifically, if you're specifying between a group, a team, or a class, you can use those letters. Early. Early. So this is the national sign for early. Early. If you sign it twice, it's available or availability. So early and then availability. In Michigan, we have a specific sign for early that people tend to use more often than that one, and that's this. Early. Early. I don't know where it came from. Early. Early. But you might see that. Okay, next up is take over. So we had adopt before, right? Adopt like adoption or take up a class. Now we have take over. Okay, so take over. I'm going to take over the world someday. Or, hey, can you save me a seat? That one might be a little more plausible. All right, set up, establish, found, or erect. So set up. So I need to set up a dentist appointment before I forget. In 1990, the ADA was established. So you can use that for both of those meanings. All right, dive in. This would be like diving into the lake while you're going camping. So dive in. I've got like a little person standing, then they dive in. Dive in. Lie down. I think this is another repeat. Lie down. Dark and light. So I have a couple variations, not for dark. Dark is always just dark. 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 So my dominant hand is going behind my non-dominant. Dark. And then light is like the opposite of that. More often than not, I see light signed with the 8 hands. So this could be like the opposite, so dark and then light, or you could use this to describe like someone's shirt is light green, or it snowed yesterday and it was light and fluffy. So you can use that sign for a lot of different things. Light up, as in ignite. So this would be to me like you're striking a match. Okay, so this is like we're camping, we're out in the wild. I hope you bring matches. Match. Light up, ignite. It's just kind of like you pretend like you're holding it. Match. Fire and flame. Fire. So I kind of go in a circle here, if you can see on the video. I know it can be kind of hard on a 2D video, but you're doing good. So fire goes in that little bit of a circle because do you remember this right here means wait. Wait, and then fire does the circles. So it's like the flames going in circles. Now we had already talked about this one. This is like chat. Like, hey, I'm going to go to that mall chat on Tuesday nights and meet some deaf people and use my sign language skills that I learned from Professor Bryant. Chat. This is what you would do. Chat. Fun. 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 Dominant hand here. Fun. You can use that. Also, you can just spell F-U-N. Fun. Either one. Now, run in the book, they're showing you this type of run, which I do sometimes see, but not often here in Michigan. We mostly sign it this way. So my dominant hand is here, hooked on my non-dominant thumb, and then I run it with it. Run. Notice I'm kind of like moving my pointer finger. Run. Now, there are, I think, 27 different meanings for the word run in English. We say run, but it has all those meanings. And all those meanings have different signs. So this run specifically is talking about your body running. Okay, so like if you are going to go for a jog, if you're going to go run a marathon, it's literally like your body is running. So the other variations of run have different signs, so we're just going to focus on that one for now. All right, next up is tree. Tree is an arbitrary sign. Tree. Tree. Now, when I say arbitrary, I mean it looks like what it is, right? So this looks like a tree. So it should be hopefully easier to remember. That's what they say about arbitrary signs anyway. So tree. All right, just a couple more. Page 272. We have through. The way that he is signing this in the book is almost like bother to me. The way that I've learned through is to actually go through your fingers. So this is my non-dominant hand. Can you do this? It'll help you with the sign if you can. Flip it, palm in, and then your dominant hand just is flat and goes right through it. So this could be like something is see-through or clear. It could be see-through. Or I have to walk through the woods to get to my camping area. All right. Next up, we have complain. So we have complain. You take a claw, put it on your chest, and complain. Similar to that is cough. Cough. So sometimes people will use this as a complaint and then a cough. Did I just say that wrong? You guys, I've been making so many videos today. I'm sorry, I did. Complain, cough. I said it backwards. So complain. So remember, like, warning is a double tap. That's how I remember that one too. So warning, complain, and then like your lungs are going up and down to remember cough. Okay? So one more time, because I think I said it wrong the first time. Complain, cough. Okay, sorry for the confusion. Next up, we have short or temporary. Short or temporary. And then we have crazy about. So that's an interesting gloss. So this is the sign. And you could use it to be like I am crazy about him. Like, he is so great. I'm just like infatuated. Whatever. Um, you could use it that way, but also the way that I see this glossed normally, like written out, is wow. Like, oh wow. That's amazing. That's awesome. Wow. So a couple different meanings for that sign. All right. That's Unit 19. We're keep on keeping on. Good job, guys. Keep up the good work.